Please stand for the national anthem. Please remove your hats. Graduates, you may leave your hats on. Now please remain standing for the invocation by Tyler Boyce.
Please join me in a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we praise you for this day. It's a good day, a day to celebrate the ability you give to learn and grow. Your word tells us that every good and perfect gift comes from you. Thank you for the ability to learn and experience life in freedom. Our education is an essential part of who we are and who we become. We're here today to celebrate a completed part of these students' education, to celebrate the diligence of all who have provided that education. Thank you for these good gifts and your presence here today. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. I'm Greg Kegel, Chancellor of MSU-Northern. On behalf of the students, the faculty, and the staff of Montana State University Northern, I'm granted the honor of welcoming each of you as we celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2024, with 279 students receiving 411 degrees. Please take a moment to mute or turn off your cell phones at this time. Thank you. I would like to thank the following individuals for participating in today's events. Shantae Standing Rock for sharing an honor song, and Tyler Boyce for the invocation and benediction. Now please allow me to introduce our platform guests. I ask that each person stand and remain standing as I call their names. Please hold your applause until the last person is introduced. Dr. Jennifer Brown, Senior Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and our Provost. Mr. Flint Rasmussen, our commencement speaker. Mr. Steve Don, Dean of the Technical Sciences. Dr. Beth Doroideye, Dean, College of Arts, Science, and Education. Dr. Jamie Duke, Interim Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Mr. Joel Soyseth, Professor of Arts and Science and our Faculty Marshal. And Mr. Tyler Boyce, Psi Alpha Director. And I'd also like to introduce my special guest, my wife, Sherry. I'd now like to recognize those at MSU-Northern who have contributed significantly to helping these graduates achieve today's milestone. First, the faculty of MSU-Northern who dedicate their lives to student success. Would the faculty please stand as I announce your college? The College of Arts, Sciences, and Education. The College of Health Sciences. And the College of Technical Sciences. These are the educators who, in partnership with family and friends, have contributed significantly to the achievement of the personal milestones that we will be celebrating today. Thank you all. In addition to the faculty, MSU-Northern staff contribute greatly to the success of the students. Members of the administrative, professional, and classified staff, please stand and be recognized. Please be seated. Thank you to everyone who has contributed time and effort in order to make today's ceremony memorable. At this time, I'd also like to recognize this year's retirees. Ms. Susan Hunger, Director of Human Resources. She is retiring after 6 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. Mr. James Morrow, thank you. Mr. James Morrow, Director of Motorcycle Rider Safety. He is retiring after 11 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. Ms. Valerie Hickman, Archivist. She is retiring with 42 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. Ms. Linda Osterman, our library technician. She is retiring with 20 years of dedicated service to MSU-Northern. I'm honored to introduce the MSU-Northern alumni who are on campus today to celebrate their golden graduation, a milestone observed by MSU-Northern to celebrate the achievements and lives of our alumni who graduated from Northern 50 years ago. This year, we are privileged to recognize members of the class of 1974. President Crowley confirmed the diplomas for these bachelor's, associates, and certificates. These graduates are an inspiration to all of us. Together with Northern's faculty and staff of that time, they helped build the foundation we enjoy today. I want to extend to these alumni a very special welcome. We're privileged to have you participate in today's ceremony. And now I ask that all the Golden Grads stand and be recognized in honor of their respective anniversary for their graduation. As Dr. Valerie Guyant calls your name, please accept your golden recognition from our provost, Dr. Jennifer Brown. Marshals, please escort the alumni to the platform, and once you have received your diploma, please stop before exiting the stage for a photo.
Michael Archdale. Wayne Bolkin. Dean Hodges. Connie Mathis. Ted Mathis. Juanita Smith. Davis Vale. Larry Vaverka. Roxy Viverka. Jane Wingaren. Leland Wood.
Please join me in recognizing these graduates. Provost Dr. Jennifer Brown will now be making some special introductions.
Good morning. I would like to recognize our students who are graduating with honors from Montana State University Northern. The maroon cords designate that the student is graduating cum laude or with a minimum GPA of 3.5 on a 4.0 scale. The silver cord designates magna cum laude or a minimum GPA of 3.75. The gold cord designates with highest honors, summa cum laude. These students are graduating with a 4.0 GPA. All honors graduates, please stand. Please be seated. Your program also designates students who are graduating with department distinction. These graduates are selected by the faculty in their departments for their outstanding performance at Northern. All students graduating with department distinction, please stand and be recognized. Please be seated. We are pleased to honor all graduates who have served in the armed forces. The red, white, and blue cords designate these graduates. Will all veteran graduates please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Chancellor Kegel will now address the graduates.
It's my honor to be standing here today to congratulate and address the graduating class of 2024. I'd like to thank all the parents, the grandparents, spouses, children, siblings, all the extended family and friends for the support they have given these graduates in pursuit of this accomplishment. This is a great class. Graduates, congratulations. Do any of you know what today is? May the 4th be with you. I think there's supposed to be some Star Wars music going on right now. Dr. Brown made me say that. So. But to be sure, today is commencement, and commencement marks the start of a new beginning. The degrees you receive today are going to open doors that you don't even know are out there. Believe me when I tell you that life is about changes and nothing stays the same. It's the truth. Your preparation here at Northern will help you navigate all those changes. That's why so many of you have heard me say, stay on track, persist, and get your ticket. Today you're getting your ticket, and we're all very proud of you. I was interviewed earlier this week, and the interviewer asked me what my message was going to be to the graduates. And I told him I wanted to say something probably about leadership, because that's kind of what we do here. And that reminded me of a current issues class that I took back in high school in the early 70s. Our assignments every day were to read the paper and come to class with a topic. One of those topics that I can remember was about a woman that had become the first black woman to be elected to the United States Congress, and at the time was running for the United States president. Her name was Shirley Chisholm, and she was getting a lot of attention because she was actually winning delegates, 152 of them to be exact. When her campaign manager was asked how is it possible that such an underdog was able to have that amount of success, and he replied, well, she's always the first person to show up, she's always the first person to stand up, and she's always the first person to speak up. So that's my message. And who have to, please don't be afraid to be the voice for those that don't have one. Good luck, class of 2024. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our 2024 commencement speaker, Mr. Flint Rasmussen. I'm pretty sure half the crowd came here to just hear him. Flint is a renowned entertainer and a former professional rodeo clown. Flint was born in Havre and raised in Choteau, Montana, where he was an all-state football player and track star at Choteau High School. Flint pursued higher education at the University of Montana Western, where he completed a double major in history and math. During his college years, he gained early experience as a sports announcer for the UMW Bulldogs and showcased his talent as a barrel clown in Western Montana rodeos. Following his graduation, Flint returned to Havre, where he taught math and history at Havre High School. He coached football and track and acted as a public address announcer for home basketball games at MSU-Northern. However, his passion for entertainment eventually led him to pursue a full-time career as a rodeo clown, a decision that proved to be immensely successful. Flint's career in entertainment reached new heights when he became an exclusive area entertainer for the Professional Bull Riders, the PBR, in 2006, a role he held until his retirement in the summer of 2023. Throughout his career, Flint hosted numerous stage, TV, and radio shows, including the popular According to Flint podcast. Currently, Flint serves as the Senior Vice President of Fan Engagement for the PBR, where he continues to make significant contributions to Western sports world. In addition to his professional accomplishment, Flint takes pride in his role as father to Shelby and Paige, both graduates of Montana State University and college rodeo national champions for the Bobcats. Flint Rasmussen's inspiring journey from a small town in Montana to the pinnacle of the entertainment industry makes him an ideal choice to impart wisdom and encouragement to the graduating class of 2024.
That's it. That's my story. Thanks for coming, everybody. It's good to be back. As was mentioned, at one time in a former life, I was the voice of the lights. So, FYI, the armory looks the same. A couple coats of paint, nice job. But I always say this last year, I've said long before Iowa had Caitlin Clark, Havre had the skylights. So this whole revolution of women's sports, we had it in the late 80s and early 90s here. So it's good to be back to see old friends, connections. I want to say hi to my friend Mary Wagner, who snuck in the back door, who I used to teach with. Good to see you, Mary. She snuck in because she thought you had to pay to get in, and it was free, Mary. And I hope it's okay that an old Western Bulldog is allowed here to speak to all of you. I think we all relate, being from small colleges in Montana. Excuse me if through the course of this I call this an MC. I just can't seem to get it out of my head. But it is good to be in Havre. I pulled in yesterday. I currently live in Billings, and when I pulled into Havre, Havre still feels way more like home than Billings ever has. So when thinking of what I could talk about today, I thought this morning, you know, I should do something inspirational and look up the true definition of northern lights and the aurora borealis, and how all of you are an energy-filled ray of light that collides with that. But that would suck. So I didn't, and I'm not that creative. So I do know, I started looking and think, I'm young at heart. I feel young. I've lived a young person's life for a long time, and I can relate. And then I did the math, and you graduates sitting here in 2024 listening to me speak to you would be like me sitting at my college graduation hearing from a guy that graduated college in 1956. I'm just an old man to you. Who's the old guy talking? So hopefully I could still relate, but I do get a lot of questions. I did an interview recently and was asked, what's your message? What's your advice to graduates? I just want all of you to know, I am fully aware that when you leave here today, you will remember little or nothing about what I talked about. I am aware of that, but my ultimate goal, it's interesting that I feel my ultimate goal here when I speak at things like this is a lot like my job has been for 30 years. You may not remember specifically what I did or said, but when you leave, I hope you feel better than when you got here. And that's been the goal of my job for years. But it is a good topic. It was interesting to hear about my career and my career path, but I get asked a lot the dreaded question that I've been asked 62,300 times, how'd you ever get into that? On an airplane, I look out the window because I just dread, how'd you ever get into that? And really, it's hopefully how you will get into your professions. Passion, drive for something you love, because to me, that was key. I grew up, as was stated, in a little town of Choteau, Montana, home of the Bulldogs, also maroon and gold. By the way, maroon and gold tie, you're welcome. And I always have joked that it's a town of 1,658 people, and it never changes because every time somebody has a baby, a guy leaves town. So it's a balance. It's a balance. I know. I moved. Yeah. I graduated with 38 graduates in my high school class, and that was the heart of my upbringing. My mom always says that I'm warped and creative because I was what they call now a latchkey kid. My parents both worked, and I loved going home to an empty house after school because that became my world. I could do everything I wanted to. I could pretend to be a basketball player, a football player, or whatever I was doing on that particular day, and I actually was disappointed when my brothers and sisters and my parents got home, which could be a sign of neglect. But in that, because much like you, a lot of you, I'm sure, came from small schools. Because of that, I was active in everything. I was an athlete, but one thing that wasn't mentioned, I excelled in music and drama. I was in the all-state choir. I starred in the Choteau High School musical production of The Sound of Music. Yeah, you're welcome. I know. You are 16 going on. I did not plan to sing, by the way, but you give the people what they want, right? But I excelled, and looking back now, it created quite a unusual variation of talents. And looking back now, I realized it was all just to be in front of a crowd. I loved being in front of a crowd. Believe it or not, I'm not that intimidated today, standing here in front of you. And that's where all of that came from. I decided to attend a small university. Yes, I I know we say I graduated from the University of Montana Western, but I actually graduated from Western Montana College at the time. I know now it's the University of Montana Western, but I'll call it WMC because I don't like the Grizzlies. Anyway, don't start. Doug Kallenberger doesn't like them either. I know for a fact. But I realized a year in, and this may have happened to some of you, I was missing activities. I was missing being an athlete or in music. It's a hard transition from high school to college, a very hard transition. It's a lonely place, and you tend to get lost because you don't have those things you had when you were the star of the team or the star of the play and everybody in town knew you. You go to college and it's a lonely place, so I clinged on to activities to satisfy that. PA announcer for the sports teams. I toured with a singing group. I got involved in as many intramurals as I could. And that is what kept me, for a while, that's what kept me from being in that place I didn't want to be. But my career traces to that, but it also traces to a dinner conversation at my home in Choteau, Montana, in my parents' house. Keep in mind, my dad and my brother are both, my dad was a rodeo announcer and my brother, Will, is a professional rodeo announcer. Both of them in their careers at that time, and I was home for the summer, and we were talking about rodeos, and I brought up, I said, man, I went to that rodeo wherever it was, and these rodeo clown guys, they're not that funny. They're doing the same jokes I heard when I was 5 years old. Is there like some kind of rule? I don't get it. And I really didn't want much to do with rodeo. I was done. I grew up, it was in the fiber of what we were as a family. I didn't really care. I'm allergic to cows, believe it or not, and horses. And a little secret, I'm very allergic to deer. So in my entire life as a hunter, I've never dressed out a deer. Pretend you're allergic to deer. But I was spouting off, and my dad and brother said, well, if you know what's going on with the rodeo clowns, you're entertaining. I looked back on old Christmas cards my mom wrote that she would send out, and on the bottom it always said, Flint's still entertaining us in the kitchen. And so he said, do it. And I'm like, I'm too cool to be a rodeo clown. I mean, come on, I'm 19 years old. And so I did it on a dare. The first rodeo I ever performed at was in a little town of Superior, Montana, west of Missoula, way out. It's a long ways from here. There's not a Cape Air flight from here to Superior, Montana. And it went well. So suddenly it became my summer job as I worked my way through college. And then I graduated from Western and said, I'm done with it. That was a great summer job. It was fun. I got to go to every little small town Montana rodeo, and I don't know if you know this about small town rodeos in Montana, but every one you go to, they say, just wait, this is the biggest party of the year. And when you're 21 and a rodeo clown, that's pretty fun. So I was done. I said, I'm gonna go make my fortune now and be a teacher. Now you kids, you guys that are gonna be teachers, you know today what it pays, right? Next year, they're not suddenly gonna pay you more. I'm just warning you right now. But I ended up in Havre as a student teacher, and I ended up here from Dillon because my connection was a man named Butch Damberger, who was a football coach at Havre High and was my high school football coach, and he helped me get into Havre High as a student teacher, where I then the next year got a job as a math and history teacher. But I was born here. My parents were teachers in Harlem, home of the Wildcats, by the way. They had been in Hayes and Lodgepole and Harlem, and so I was born here, and like 2/3 of the people in Havre delivered by Dr. Elliott here in Havre. Some of you know. But partway through my second year of teaching, so I stuck it out a long time, I was getting phone calls. Hey, we hear you do a good job at this rodeo thing, and we're always looking for new entertainment. You're kind of revolutionizing how you do it. So it was eating at me. And one day I was sitting in the teacher's lounge at Havre High School drinking coffee, and I said, I'm thinking about doing something else. I'm young. I was 25 years old, single, didn't owe anybody anything, didn't own anything. I said, I'm thinking about giving this rodeo thing a try. And there were two teachers there. Mary will know them. They were leaning on the door jamb of the teacher's lounge, and they said, Rasmussen, we all talk about it. We all talk about giving up teaching and doing something else. They said, mark our words, in 15 years, you're going to be sitting on that same couch drinking out of the same coffee cup teaching with the rest of us. And I quit the next day. Should I say their names? Doug Larson and Dan Koffler. Those were the two teachers. Yeah. Don't even spread the word. How'd that go? By the way, Havre High School has never asked me to speak at graduation, so But it has gone okay, and I attribute it to my rural upbringing. All of Montana is rural. To the rest of the world, Billings, Montana is small-town America, and we can't forget that. And I know there are a lot of you. Being at a small university, many of you have stuck to that small-town feel. That's what I did. I didn't want to be just another number. I wanted to be somebody at a college. And I know a lot of you did that, and you come from small towns. And for all of you, whether you may have come from Canada, a small town in Canada, maybe the Hat. Do people still go to the Hat? If you're Canadian, whether you're from out of state, you're from a small town, now you're one of us. You're a Montanan now. And in my travels through all these years, through every corner of this country in huge cities, people used to ask me, are you really from Montana? Or is that just part of the shtick? No, I'm from Montana. Oh, cool. Now it's really cool to be from Montana. Because somebody didn't mute their phone. No matter how much you dislike Hollywood-produced shows about Montana and how unrealistic they are, it is really cool right now to be from Montana. Really cool. And it's a great time to be a cowboy, too, all across this country. And it's funny, I'll be in LA or New York or even Texas, say, where are you from? Montana. Oh, we have a place in Montana. And through all of my years, not one time has that place ever been in Havre. Ever. It will be. There's going to come a day. Oh my God, we have a summer house in Montana. Where at? Havre. What? They crossbreed mosquitoes with turkeys. It's crazy. But seriously, all of that with Montana, making it cool to be from Montana, it's really done something to us here within our borders. And I discovered that a year and a half or so ago during the big shindig when College Game Day came to Bozeman, Montana. And we had to tolerate for 2 weeks or a week about which town in Montana is really Montana. I hate this town, I hate that town. And yes, I was on College Game Day, by the way. But how often do we hear, Bozeman, it's not even Montana anymore. Los Angeles. Why is it not Montana anymore? Because it's changed so much. It's changed so much. I have a really good friend. His name's Click. And he is a rodeo photographer, and he's from the East Coast, but travels the country now and does rodeo photography. And he made a good point to me. A year or so ago, we were up in Big Sky, Montana. Now that's real Montana. Anyway, he said, Flint, I love Montana. But one thing I've discovered being here as a visitor, there are lots of versions of Montana. I said, that's a good way to put it. He said, you know what? I love every version of Montana. And it's sort of like all of us sitting here. There's different versions of all of us, and we all have good qualities and bad qualities. Some people like us, some people don't. Great, not so great qualities. And that's what Montana is. You know, Bozeman, it's not Montana, it's changed. My hometown has half the high school enrollment it used to, and half the stores are boarded up on Main Street. Is it still Montana? I mean, it's changed a lot. Still Montana. There's different versions of Montana. There's the one version of Montana that I hear a lot about around the country. Bozeman, Whitefish, Missoula, Big Sky. Okay, maybe not Missoula. I'm joking. That's a version of Montana. Kalispell, we have a place on the lake. Oh yeah, great version of Montana. I find myself gravitating and partial to the version of Montana that's Choteau, Miles City, Big Timber, Baker, Malta, Glasgow. Okay, there's another one. Glasgow, I'm not sure. Havre. I'll throw Big Sandy in there. This Box Elder. That's the version I find myself gravitating to. I drove from Billings to here yesterday. And when you drive north from Billings and you go through Roundup, there's not much else out there. And I freaking love it. Except the wind. The wind was blowing. That's weird, right? But that's the version of Montana that is a part of me. And what it's done for me is it's helped me form relationships. I pull into Havre. Hell, I know everybody. I walked in yesterday. There was a little early Cinco de Mayo nacho tarp, somebody's birthday party at the bank. Independence Bank. They have a sign. I have an old friend that works there. And I walked in the room and looked around and I said, did I teach anybody in here? And 3 people raised their hands. And I said, wow, I'm old. But it's taught me about relationships and connections. And for those of you who know me, you know I love to brag about my daughters. And their mom and I taught them very early on that we were going to bring them up the same way we were brought up. And we taught them early, you know, you can have all this success in the world, in the arena, and whatever that arena might be, in the classroom, in the rodeo arena, on stage, at your job, whatever. But the only thing people will remember is how you treat them. That's what they will remember. And we call it conduct outside of the arena. But most of your accomplishments will come from your ability to cultivate relationships and connections. And those who argue with that don't have them. There's people that argue with you, and they don't have them. Now, you got one thing. Well, I'll tell you a story. My daughter, Paige, is currently in Boston. She was a college national champion last year in Casper, Wyoming, and 2 days later, she got on an airplane and flew to Boston to do a 2-month unpaid internship at the McGovern Brain Institute at MIT. She's still there. A boy has something to do with that, but whatever. But she called me one day from that lab. She said, Dad, I come in here every day, and these kids are the most brilliant kids in the country, supposedly. And she said, they cannot carry on a conversation. I said, well, stick with what you're doing, Paige. A month or so later, she said, Dad, when I walk in, everybody calls me by name and asks me how my day's going. The ability to BS is a great quality to have. And so today, you have one big part of moving forward, and that's a degree. You're about to walk up here and get it. One big part. But relationships and connections will open doors for you that a degree never will. And it's very important. With that in mind, I get asked a lot, what's the best advice you can give? You know, what advice are you going to give these kids? I always do one. And when I've been asked in interviews, what's the best advice you ever got? I said it was my dad. My dad, Stan. First of all, I remember when I got my first teaching job, and he said, let me give you one piece of advice teaching. Be friends with the janitors. For one, whatever you need, they're the best guys there to help you. And for two, they know all the crap that's going on, and they'll tell you about it. But he told me, and excuse me, I'm quoting, he said, be careful of whose toes you step on. for they may be connected to the ass you have to kiss someday. Yeah. See, at a high school graduation, I would have said rear end, but we're grown-ups here. But I hope that this experience is more than just about a university. I hope it's about a community as well. And I hope that you create a bond with this community like I did. Went to a softball game last night. I might go to the track meet for a while before I go home today. But I've created a bond with this place and the High Line, what we call the High Line. In Montana, we just say it naturally, things up on the High Line. Nobody else knows what we're talking about, but we know what we're talking about. And this is a unique and special place. There's a loyalty here, and people love it here. I've always said, Haver's like a small version of Butte, but you don't have to go to Butte, which is a good thing. And I've formed that, and I hope you do too. This is a cool place, and I've done a lot of high school graduations. I've spoken at a lot of high school graduations, and it's great to see families and faces and have a barbecue after. And I do want you to know the great thing about doing this is I don't have to watch an annoying slideshow and listen to a terrible choir. This is great. This is really good. But I've always kind of joked, and don't take offense to this, I've always said, you know what you got to do to pass high school? Go. That's how you pass high school. You just got to go. Now, to be here today, you have truly navigated something that a lot of people never will in their life. And this is a big accomplishment. That's why it's so fun to be here. Somebody asked me last night, you nervous? I said, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to come here and talk to people. But you've truly navigated. And well, you know, I was sitting in my hotel this morning, which was full. A lot of graduates stayed there. And I added something on the bottom of my notes. I wrote this because I was looking at the list of graduates Beth, thank you for sending to me. And I mentioned my daughter out on the East Coast in Boston. And honestly, she's getting tired of it. With that in mind, I wrote something down, a note, and I said, watching the news today, what's going on in our country, I want you guys to know I am more honored to be here in front of a room full of young people who will truly contribute to this country. Everybody says, go change the world. You don't have to change the world. Be a positive contributor to the world. That's what'll make a difference. Little tip for you. Blocking my path into the airport and screaming in my face isn't gonna make me change my mind about how I feel. Just a little advice for you. But I looked at the degrees. There's teachers and nurses, ag mechanic, technology, diesel mechanics, electricians, plumbers, welders, criminal justice, business. All those people that are out screaming in everybody's faces, guess who they gotta pay to get their crap done? You. So just so you know, wherever you may end up, wherever you might travel or you're in a conversation with somebody, and people bring up where are you from or where'd you go to school? You went to college in Montana. You're from Montana. And they'll ask where? Oh, where'd you go? You know what they expect? Montana State, University of Montana. Well, you can tell them, I went to a cool university, cool little university way up north in a cool little town called Havre. And that gave me a great experience. And from me, congratulations to you, because from this day forward, somewhere in that closet, you're going to have a little something maroon and gold. And you are the only people in the country that can say, I'm a Northern Light. So congratulations.
Thank you, Flint. was a great address. This time, Provost Brown will present the degree candidates.
Chancellor Kegel, I am pleased to present the degree candidates for the Master of Education and the Master of Science in Education. Candidates for the Master of Education degree in Counselor Education and Master of Science in Education degree in Instruction and Learning, please rise. These candidates have met the requirements for the Master of Education degree and the Master of Science in Education degree and are recommended by the graduate faculty for the degree. Professors Joyce Impande Finn and Curtis Meeby, please come forward to assist with the hooding of these candidates. Marshals, will you please escort the new graduate degree recipients to the stage to receive their diplomas, hoods, and congratulations. I request the audience reserve its applause until all graduates have crossed the stage.
Julie Christine Doherty. Lindsay D. Rodebush. Raymond Sebastian. Shayla Tyne Wallen. Melissa Jane Henry. Michaela Christine Hudson. Mandy Sue Nitz.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the Higher Education of the State of Montana, I hereby confer upon you the degrees of Master of Education and Master of Science in Education for which you have qualified. Please join us in recognizing our newest master degree holders.
Chancellor Kegel, I am pleased to present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Education, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, Associate of Applied Science, and Certificate of Applied Science. Candidates, please rise. Chancellor Kegel, these candidates, upon recommendation by the faculty of the appropriate departments, have met the requirements for the baccalaureate or associate degree or certificate program. Graduates, please be seated until the marshals ask you to move to the podium to receive your degrees. I also ask that members of the audience please hold your applause until all graduates have crossed the stage. Marshals, will you please escort the new graduates to the platform to receive their degrees, and congratulations.
Tasha Brianne Biarco. Sydney K. Hansen. Lacey Marie Hughesby. Riley Kerr. Dara L. King. Delaney Michelle McLean. Haley Mossbrucker. Lindsay Marie Nefsker. Ashley R. Swartzrock. Titus Lee Pullum. Caden Leck. Richard V. Ratzberg. Rodrigo Saldana Matos. Olivia Fletz. Noah Christian Nitz. Jack Christopher Slaughter. Nathaniel R. Welch. You need a card. Kylie Rainingbird. Caleb Quinn Bailey. Cheyenne Danielson. Kimberly F. Irvin. Susie Kirkledee. Zachary Jude Martinez. Jada Danielle Nicholson. Colin Silverthorne. Cheyenne M. Smith. Lana Beth Wagner. Tia Rose Zander. Dexter Richard Beck. Liam Laws. Jada Rose Maynor. Giorgino Di Moraga. Jacob Charles Sparks. Alana L. Wetch. Luke Moyer. Tanner David Dolan. Evan Fallman. Canon M. Ferrestad. Eston James Flamond. Dante James Janicula. Jera Kinsella. Jason Moore. Braden Rolls Ortiz. Terrace Lee Sis Small. Frederick Helmut Stickle. Janissa Stiles. Lane Timothy Vandermars. Nicholas Varner. Ethan A. Visti. Carl Joel Blacker Hansen. Jackson Jean Whitaker. Savannah Bailey Dawson. Kendall John Holden. Trey V. Kennerly. Ananda Rosemary Goes Ahead. Andre Trehan Proctor. Dulcie Rain Skunkcap. You did it. Miles A. Dalton. Virgil Dustin Long. Talon Lee Oates. Joshua Rose. Logan W. Taylor. Michaela J. Connolly. Samantha Taylor Hampton. Jennifer Rebecca Anderson. Jeremiah Mark Headress. Kiara Rose Love. Luke Colton Triplett. Caden A. Woods. Yes, do you have a card? Go get a card. I have to keep them in order. Keisha A. Flayton. Caden Frickle. Randy Marie Gormley. Brianna May Robbins. Bailey Marie Schaub. Get a card to them. Tyler Vauthier. Isabella Areola. Ariana Asha Vidge. Rachel Van Blaricom. If they told you to get up, then we're good. Jamie L. Anderson. Alyssa Nicole Marie Badeau. Shandy DeHaven. Sydney Marie Hovde. I know I have to keep the card, so you need to get one. Kirsten L. Lemire. Joanna Louise Lesiak. Nicholas R. Mitchell. Maya Olson. Avery Jo Politica. Christine S. Kirsch. Aaron B. Pula. No, I have to have the heart to keep it. Brandon David Rose. Jancy L. Still Smoking. Lillianne M. Tafflin. That's okay. Brooke Lynn Reed. Erica Colleen Turner. Cade Freedy. Emily C. Shelton. Savannah Weaver. Laurel Zimmerman. Caden Lee Labrie. Logan S. Marcotte. Roy McDaniel. William Smith. Tace Q. St. Pierre. Mike Tucker. Cody J. Arnold. Jack Gibson. Angela Jarman. Morgan David Manthe. David J. Altum. Get one from them, please. No, you have to go get a card from them, please.
Brooks Cluton. Braden L. Eoff. Cameron Ray Falcon. Thomas Craig Fleshy. Vincent Chappell. Andrew Ganuza. Joe Darrell Gone. Stuart A. Jenks. Braden Romo. Stran Richard Selman. Byron James Stoner. Jesse E. Strickland.
Camus Alexander Thomas. Jace Weimer. Isaac Witter. Zachary James Weimer. Frizzell Bigback. Gunnar Burke. Scott Campbell. Reese Foster Elliott. Thomas Russell Janes. Ty William Lovegren. Trenton Murray Malani. Casey Raybon. Justin Joseph Rosgard. Matthew Brisky. Zion J. Phillips. Leonard Biorgi. Nathan Thomas Blackadder. Darren DeBoer. Dylan Arley Griffith.
Need your card. Need your card. Go get one for me.
Draven Allen Lageson. Roper Price. Ruby Rossiter. Janae West. Ethan Koss.
Graduates, please rise. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the Higher Education of the State of Montana, I hereby confer the degrees of Bachelors of Science in Education, Bachelors of Science, Bachelors of Arts, Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, Associate of Applied Science, and Certificate of Applied Science for which you have qualified. You may now move the tassel from the right to the left side of your mortarboard. Now, please turn and face the audience and take this opportunity to thank your family and friends for their support in helping you achieve this milestone. Please be seated. In closing, I'd also like to recognize the impact that Montana State University Northern has had across generations throughout the years. Would any member in the audience who's a graduate of MSU-Northern, Montana State University Northern, please stand and be welcomed home. Please stand as Shantae Standing Rock shares an honor song for our graduates. Thank you, Mr. Standing Rock. Please remain standing as Mr. Boyce gives the benediction.
Please join me in prayer. Lord Jesus, your word tells us that you hold the whole world in the palms of your hands. And as I thought about that and contemplated that, Lord, I understand a little more that your ways go beyond our understanding. And that this commencement, as it comes to a close, I lift us up to you in the knowledge that there will be difficult things in life, that there have been difficult things in life, and that you are there. Things we will not understand, things we will struggle to see as good or helpful. They're a mystery to us, and in those times, Lord, I pray we would not lose hope or go into hiding, but we would embrace the mysteries of this life, knowing that every good and perfect gift comes from you. You who experience the pain of this life, you who know the roads we walk, and who will walk this road with us day by day to the end. It may sound counterintuitive to think about the end of our days on a commencement day, on a beginning day, but something happens when we know the end is coming. The path to get there takes on new meaning. Today is not random. Today has meaning. It means something. And so, this is a great day of celebration for many, and for others, it's another step in a hard journey forward. Lord, I thank you that you are present in both stories. I thank you that you are present. You celebrate with those who celebrate, and you're close to those who are mourning and brokenhearted. And as we look into this mystery we call life, we trust you to know the plans you have for us, plans to give us a future and a hope, that you will keep us from childhood until we're old and gray. Now may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord be gracious to you. And may the Lord be found in your life. And may the Lord make his face shine upon you and give you peace to the end. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Please be seated. We hope you will join us as we further celebrate our students in the Vandy Bogart Library immediately following commencement, where you'll have an opportunity to view the Student Project Symposium and enjoy light refreshments. This symposium is an opportunity to see many examples of the incredible work our students do in pursuit of their degrees. Please allow the graduates and faculty to leave the gymnasium first. Now please stand and remain standing until the recessional has been concluded.